Hey, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on where you are. So supposedly, I think we are live now. So welcome and good morning, and here we are again. So I seems to be just yesterday the first time we did the live event back in July, and now we decided to come back again and be live today with all of you. And I'm really excited. And of course, I'm also, how can I say, a little bit nervous because we are using a new tool to make this kind of live event. So last time we were just recording using the cell phone, and today we are using, I don't know, something very advanced. I have like 100 buttons in front of me, and I hope nothing will go wrong. So thanks for joining. Thanks for being here. As I said, it's a very good opportunity. Today we are live in the same time on Facebook, and here you see on the subtitle our address, let me say. And in the same time, we are also live on YouTube, on the VIDIA channel. So you can follow us on basically these two channels here, Facebook and YouTube. So great opportunity. Of course, put your like, and of course, if even if something goes wrong, put a like just to encourage me. As I said, I need to be very careful with what I'm doing here. And but anyway, so Facebook, YouTube, mentioned already. Don't forget also to let me say the two other channels that we have available. So Instagram and LinkedIn. So you can connect there as well. We are not live on Instagram, on LinkedIn, but of course these are our official channel where you can find news, informations, and a lot of nice video about our products. So don't forget to subscribe and follow us there. Last but not least, VIDIA website, vidia.com, where we'll find all the information, especially concerning the topic of today, that we are going to talk about some of our products within the VIDIA and Hanita portfolio. So you will find all the products that we're going to mention today also on the VIDIA website. So major information will be available there as well. All right, so as I mentioned, don't hesitate to comment, to leave your comment, or to put any question you might have, so we can also answer directly, because we are live, as I said. And I mean, it's an interactive session, okay? So if you want, just let me know where you are in this moment. So from which country you are looking at this live event. I mean, and don't hesitate to comment, okay? So I'm based in Italy at the moment. Here we have a very nice weather, seems to be spring. So we have like 20 degrees Celsius outside. So, I mean, comment on the temperature actually where you are, where we are located. Okay, right. So before we jump into, let me say, today's topic, and as I mentioned, I hope it will be interesting for you, because we're going to talk about products, but not really in the usual way we do normally, because what I would like to do is also to, you know, look at some of our history, okay, to let you understand how we innovate over the last few decades, right? Just to understand the actual technology we have, where it comes from, actually, right? And so we're going to try this approach, looking not only at the products or looking at the future, but also looking a little bit at the history, because I believe it's funny, or it's interesting anyway, to sometimes look back and not always look in front of us. Just one small topic. Of course, we are a company 100% focused on safety. So safety is very important. We are living a global pandemic, unfortunately, at this moment. So don't forget all the precautions that we need to follow now to protect ourselves and our friends and families from this pandemic. So always wear your mask. You see, it's also here with me in this moment. Make sure you are keeping social distancing, washing your hand, and stay tuned for any kind of information coming from your government about how to face properly this crazy situation that we are living nowadays. All right. So with this, I think that we can jump into the topic for today. So as I mentioned, we want to talk about some of our products, and I want to do that really in conjunction with the history, some of the history, right? Because, I mean, my primary role is product management, okay? And as a product manager, 99% of my work is looking at customer problems, okay, or application problems, and work with engineering team, with designing team, with technology to create new technologies, okay, to address customer problems. So I'm really 99% focused on the future, okay, and the next step. So providing the technology that is not yet on the market today to make sure that customer can advance in their competitiveness, productivity, and being always at the cutting edge of technology to be 100% competitive in the market. But now, in preparing this live, I was also collecting some information about our history, and I found this very interesting because, as I said, it's not something I do usually. I don't do this basically never. So, and I found it very interesting at the moment, actually, and this is why also I decided to share this with you, because I believe that sometimes, as I said, speaking about history is not a bad idea, but always connected to the future. Now, it's a live event. It's not supposed to be a presentation, but of course, I also prepared some few slides just as a support. We will not be focused on the slide all the time because, I mean, this is not the intent. But anyway, I put together some slides just to look at some picture, and then we have videos about cutting application, and then of course I hope we will have the time to interact. So don't hesitate again to put your like, to share also this live with your friends. I mean, there is the possibility on Facebook and YouTube to do this, so make your friends aware about what we are doing here, and put your comments. So I see also already the first comment coming. So we have people from Sweden. Hi, everyone from Sweden. Then we have other coming from Massachusetts, USA. Thank you very much for being here. Very good to see all you here now with us. So yeah, very interactive, and don't hesitate to put your comment and question in the chat. All right. So as I mentioned, let's start with a couple of slides. Okay, as I mentioned, I don't want to stay there too much on the slide. Oh, now we have people coming from Canada as well. So good morning. So I think it's early morning for you over there. So thanks for being here early in your day. So, but anyway, there are a couple of things that I want to share. So the first thing is about the topic of today, that is around the portfolio of the solid carbide and milling products, right? So this is also the portfolio I'm responsible for, and this is what I would like to talk about in today's presentation. And when starting to see the first slide that I put together, probably this seems to be a little bit confusing. That's why I want also to take the opportunity to talk about that. So we are WIDIA, right? And of course, this is also what you can see from our social media account. And so I hope my screen is visible. So I hope that this is visible. So I hope it will be. So let me try again to see what's going on here. So probably you will see what I'm presenting on the screen a little bit in delay compared to what I'm doing here. So the first topic is that, of course, we are WIDIA, right? And but what I want to talk to you about today is the Hanita products, and this is just it's really something important because Hanita is totally part today of the WIDIA family, because it's a brand that has been part of the WIDIA family already since like probably 2009, if I'm not mistaken, but this is something that we are going to see into the timeline. And anyway, it's also very nice to see the two brands becoming more and more prominent in the market, because I believe they are somehow two brands with two history that are very well connected. So, you know, WIDIA is a brand that has been a pioneer in carbide production, because in 1925, basically WIDIA has been the company that invented the carbide and the process to produce carbide, okay? And then Hanita, this is something that we are going to see in a few moments, has been really a pioneer in technology for what is regarding solid end milling. So those kind of tools that are not indexable but solid, so solid round, it will be HSS or carbide. And it's very nice because there have been two companies very well focused on milling, and today they are connected together. So two names, very big names on the market today together to address milling needs for our customer. Then, of course, WIDIA is not only milling, we have many other products, but you see the basic connection between the two brands is always around the milling strengths in this way. So Hanita products are there, and of course, also from the commercial standpoint, we are leveraging our great WIDIA distributor. So the Hanita and WIDIA products are always available at our distributor around the globe. So let me jump for a second into the comments. So I see a lot of comments coming now from Portugal. I have other people from other places of Europe. So good morning and good afternoon, everyone, and really thank you for joining. I see somebody from Turkey. Good, very, very nice. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Now, as I mentioned, one of the things that I would like to do today is also talking about the history, because this is the way we can understand how we innovate or innovated the products. And we can also find the connection between the period where we launched certain technology and what we are doing today in terms of enhancing those technology and, providing more and more innovation to our customer to make sure they are always productive and meeting their productivity goals. So sorry for that. So now, as I said, the history of WIDIA started in 1925, while the history of Hanita started in 1954. Okay, so Hanita was an Israel-based company. Okay, and since then, you see on the timeline. I hope this is very visible on your screen at the moment. So starting from 1984. You can see that all the milestones that we have in our timeline are strictly connected with a product innovation or even a technology innovation. So you can see that in 1984, and I mean, it's crazy for me thinking about that because at the time I had only I was 1 year old. So it's really back in the time. Hanita was a company that introduced the titanium nitride PVD coating technology. And as we can see, or we will see, Hanita was one of the first company to introduce this coating technology in their product. And this made really a revolution because I don't know about you, but I mean, if you are old enough and you work in a shop floor or been, in shop floor, you might remember that all the tools years ago, they were all gold colored or yellow colored, and this was the titanium nitride type of coating. And for a certain period, probably it's been considered the best type of coating available on cutting tool. And this made really a revolution. And Hanita was one of the first company to take advantage of this revolution and commercialize those products in the marketplace. And then starting from that, 1999, 2001, 2003, you see all the milestones are strictly connected to a launch of a product that I can say, very frankly, that has been quite a revolution in the marketplace, starting from the Wavecut in 1999 for the machining of titanium. And now the VariMill technology, starting from 2003. So the VariMill is almost a 20-year-old product or technology, okay, because we are in 2021 now. But if you think about that, we never stop to make evolution or improvement on this type of technology. And today we are still improving our own technology and continuously providing great productivity to our customers. So even if it's something started 20 years ago, we never stop to make technology and innovation. And now we are capable to really deliver great productivity to our customer. And I believe this also gives you the possibility to make the connection between our history and what we are doing nowadays in evolving our products. And as I mentioned, since 2009, this is another important milestone. Since 2009, Hanita became officially part of the WIDIA products group. So this portfolio has been totally integrated into WIDIA, and now Hanita is part of the overall WIDIA offering. So to not only to address the milling needs, so WIDIA is capable to address needs into oil making, turning, indexable milling as well, together with solid carbide needs. All right. So with this being said, probably we can also start looking at some of our even some of our historical picture, right? So as I mentioned, in 1984, WIDIA was one of the first company to adopt the titanium nitride PVD coating, and this is the picture of the first machine. All right. So if you have some experience into tool production, probably you can recognize a machine similar to that. So if you have never seen something like that, put a like or put a comment. So by the way, this is a machine that is used basically to coat, that it was used to coat the cutting tool. So you see the yellow stuff over there is basically the place where you go to put all the tool. They rotate, and through a very complex process that is, taking a lot of chemical and electricity stuff, make or create the coating layer on the products, all right? And you can see that these stuff are yellow because the titanium nitride is basically a yellow-colored type of coating. So this machine was called Bay 730, okay? And as I mentioned, at the time that Hanita bought this machine for a huge amount of money, I have to say, it was one of the three company having this type of machine. So there were only one other machine in Japan, another in US, and this third one that it was in Israel. So we were like at the forefront of innovation at the time, acquiring this type of machine to make the titanium nitride PVD coating. And I can tell you that over 30 million end mills have been coated through this type of machine. All right. So like if you think about the quantity, 30 million probably is like a couple of decades, like 20 years of production, probably something like that. So for a long period, titanium nitride has been one of the prominent type of coating technology available in our industry. And I have to say, not only for metal cutting tool, because I know by fact that the tin or titanium nitride has been used also in other sector, like, I don't know, the die and mold, or this kind of stuff, or this kind of tools, okay, where basically they don't cut, but they probably shape the material. But anyway, segment where the wear on the tool is a critical factor. So there is the need to protect the tool from the wear progression. So the tin has really been an important factor in the metal cutting or in the tooling technology in general. All right, so that's already to give you the feeling about innovation behind the Hanita brand. And then starting, and this was funny also, very interesting for me, share some piece of old marketing. This was one of the brochure that Hanita was using to basically commercialize and promote the titanium nitride coating on mainly HSS type of tool at the beginning, because we're talking about the 80s, okay, 1984, 1985, something like that. And then, of course, from the HSS, so the SP steel, the titanium nitride coating has also been used in carbide type of tooling, right? So it's also very interesting to see the marketing from the past. I mean, I'm a marketing person also, and it's interesting to learn from the past also to better develop the marketing for the future, I believe. All right, so that's not too bad. Now, from the technology, I believe that we can also look at some of the products. And as I mentioned, titanium nitride was 1984. I was like 1 year old, so it's a long time ago. And then it comes 1999. And also here, I believe Hanita made a big step ahead in technology, because they have introduced the Wavecut tool or probably geometry, okay? They had a couple of versions. Okay, in the past we have the Wavecut 1 and the Wavecut 2, and this was another kind of revolution because the Wavecut was dedicated mainly for aerospace, okay, and mainly for titanium. You know that in aerospace there is a lot of titanium, especially for the structural part, okay, and the very good thing is that we are still providing this type of tool to customer, okay? So even if this is an HSS tool and this technology started in 1999, there are still customers taking benefit of this type of technology, okay? Because you have to think that the machine tool side of the business is not the same progress, okay, let me say, because when a customer or a shop floor buy a machine, probably this machine lasts for 30 years, right? Okay, so probably there are a lot of medium to old generation machines still available. They have to cut big slot in this kind of huge titanium component. They have to remove a big amount of material, and that's why there are customers still using, probably also in this machine are multiple heads, okay, type of machine. So with I don't know, 3, 5, or even 7 spindle going all together, where probably carbide is not the best option, okay, because the stability of the machine is not the best. So the Wavecut is still a kind of product largely used in the aerospace, because also this is a cutter going on bigger diameter, like we can do that up to 2 inch, if I'm not mistaken, or 50 millimeter in diameter. But anyway, coming to the story was a revolution because probably starting also from the naming, Wavecut, we had a very nice or innovating cutting edge design to basically address 2 problems, right? Because you know that in titanium there are several problems, right? So it's not only an hard to machine material because it's not extremely hard, but is a refractory material, first of all, and second point is a type of material that normally make long string chips, okay? So you have 2 problems. The first one is that you have to manage the temperature and the cutting forces, okay, to avoid that the heat is going up too much, okay, because you know, higher the temperature, shorter the tool life. Very easy, basic rule of the cutting tool or the machining world. So the Wavecut shape was also able to reduce the cutting forces, and reducing the cutting forces to basically lower the temperature developed during the cutting, right? That is, as I mentioned, very critical for titanium machining. On the other side, the problem with titanium is normally the long stringy chips, and those chips are always a problem, because if you don't have the proper form of the chips, you're just creating a big burn nest on the tool, okay? And this can be a problem not only for the integrity of the tool, but also for the safety of the overall operation. So with the Wavecut, we've been able to basically address the 2 problems together, okay? So create small chips, more manageable, and at the same time to lower the cutting forces, then lower the temperature. So for this, I really would love to show you a video, and I hope I can do it without making any big mistake here, because as I mentioned, between all the 100 buttons that I have to to play, it can be a problem. So this is a kind of application that the Wavecut can do, okay? So imagine that the component we have on the machine table at the moment is a titanium component, okay? And this is a 40 millimeter cutter taking a full slot operation. So you see, we put a lot of coolant, of course, because you must machine titanium with coolant for the temperature topic that we mentioned at the beginning. But anyway, think about that. This is a 40 millimeter cutter, so it's a big one. Taking a full slot with a depth of cut that is bigger than 1.1 times D, so it's probably like 45 or 50 millimeter depth of cut, so almost 2 inch depth of cut. So, and believe me, there are still a lot of customers making application like that, even on multiple spindle machine. Okay, so they are running this type of application with 3 or 5 end mills and at the same time. So it's critical to keep the cutting forces low as much as possible. So in 1999, Hanita was able to provide a technology like that, where not only in terms of tool life, but also in terms of chip management. So if you are used to machine titanium, you know very well what I'm talking about, okay? So managing the chip in titanium is something crazy sometimes. And then with the Wavecut technology, we are able to basically manage the chip in this way to make sure that we don't create any burn nesting or any major issue in terms of chip evacuation. So it was 1999, and now there are still customers almost 20 years ago, or sorry, more than 20 years after, still applying this technology successful and being competitive in their market. All right, and by the way, it's always very nice to see video like this because I love making chips. Okay, I'm a guy coming from the shop floor, and I love making chips, so I love to see this type of video. Bye. Okay, so I see in the meantime other people joining from Canada. Thanks for being here. So that's another good example. All right, so that it was the Wavecut, okay, 1999. Then our technology moved forward also, and I believe in 2003, if I'm not mistaken, it really came one of the biggest revolution that I believe for years has been like, I mean, I will not say copied, but many competitors try to copy the same technology and the same type of geometry that we have here. So 2003 was the time for the VariMill 1, okay? And the VariMill 1 is like our core technology, right? So we apply the VariMill everywhere because at the time was really a kind of revolution, right? So the VariMill 1 is basically a 4-flute type of cutter, okay? And when I talk about the 4-flute, I believe I'm talking about the bread and butter of machining, if you understand what I mean. So every single shop floor apply a 4-flute cutter from driven tool on a lathe down to the most advanced machining center, because a 4-flute normally is like the all-around technology, okay? You can apply it almost everywhere, almost in every kind of material. Probably if you take out aluminum or non-ferrous material, you can apply 4-flute almost everywhere. But the VariMill was a revolution at the time because it was the original and the first introduced type of cutter with what we call the variable pitch, or probably better said, unequal flute spacing. So, and this is just a representation of what the unequal flute spacing means. Okay, so it was the very first cutter with the angle between the cutting edge to be different. All right, so they were not 90-degree, precisely 90-degree, but we had this kind of variation into the cutting edge disposition, okay, on the circumference. And at the time, I can see that really Hanita was the first one to introduce this type of technology with multiple benefit for the customer around the world. The first one is about vibration control, okay, because having this kind of irregular spacing give the possibility to basically cut the harmonics, okay? You know, if you think about the sinusoidal wave shape that you are generating, okay, when the end mill is rotating, okay? So when you are 90-degree, perfectly divided cutter, you are going to have a kind of development that is generating vibration, okay? You have perfect harmonics and you are generating those kind of vibration. Now with irregular, you're basically going to break those harmonics and the end mill remain much more stable, okay? So thanks to this, that it was a patent technology and at the time it was really something related only to Hanita, we have been able to address multiple need of the customer in terms of increasing cutting speed. And you know, when you increase the cutting speed, you have basically the opportunity to increase your metal removal rate. Okay, that is what normally customers are looking for. That was one of the revolution. And as I said, VariMill is our most important, probably most important technology. So I think that we are recognized as WIDIA because of the VariMill, or vice versa. Anyway, they are very connected, very well connected. And since then, since 2003, we never stopped to make adjustment or make evolution, build on that technology, okay? In fact, we are going to see that this is the 4th flute, but then in the year we developed the 5th flute, the 7th flute, and even now in 2020, we developed something that is the evolution of the existing VariMill 1 technology, okay? Because, I mean, it's a crazy and super technology we had available. And again, even from the marketing standpoint, is very important or interesting for me to remember some of the advertising that we did at the time, showing or showcasing the 4777 tool, okay? So the 4777 was probably the first VariMill 1 that has been introduced. So the regular, like 2 times the depth of cut with non-neck cylindrical shank, 4-flute design, and also here in the bottom, we were explaining what I explained to you just now. So the point around the fact that the cutting edge were not regularly spaced, but we have this kind of irregular angles between the cutting edge, a very specific helix angle. So there were a lot of elements down there, but really the irregular flute spacing, it was the most important piece of technology applied on the VariMill 1. Now, when you think about the VariMill, I mean, the VariMill 1, the 4777 was the first one, that it was like the very basic 4-flute with the standard lengths. But as I mentioned, we never stopped to innovate, okay? Or we never stopped to create more tool for different needs of our customer. And now I will go to share with you another short video about the VariMill 1, where thanks also to the most recent technology developed also from the cam side, from the machine side, trochoidal became more and more prominent, or probably I have to say not trochoidal, but dynamic milling. So this kind of technology where the radial engagement is always limited, and the advantage comes from the possibility to take a high depth of cut. So we have developed a tool called 4717, okay, that is still the 4-flute technology from the original VariMill 1 development, but now capable to address the dynamic milling requirement, okay? So this is a 4 times the long tool, okay? So the total depth of cut capability is about 4 times the diameter. And this is an application that demonstrates the capability of the VariMill that has been developed in 2003 when dynamic milling even not exist, okay? Capable now to address the requirement of dynamic milling. So with the technology, we were already years ahead of anybody, because now we have the demonstration that even a technology coming from 2003 is now capable to really address the needs of a method in milling that has been developed over the last probably 5 years. Is becoming more and more prominent. Everybody's speaking about dynamic milling, CAM software, dynamic machines. So maybe we can play it again because it's very nice. So 4 times the length, and thanks to the fact that we have this variable helix, variable pitch, but not only, all right? So there are other elements, but especially because of the irregular flute spacing, we can take up to 4 times the reducing vibrations that you can understand that 4 times the vibration can be a problem, okay? And this is one of the applications that has been done even on a type of steel that is not a 4140, something more critical, because I believe it's a tool steel, like 1.2311 or something similar. to that. So even on R2 machine still, we had the possibility to provide productivity and competitiveness to our customer. All right. Okay, so now I see other people joining. Okay, somebody from Israel. Thank you very much for joining. I hope you enjoy today's presentation, because I mean it's all around the Hanita products. Okay, and by the way, it seems that everything is going well from my side. I have no technical issue for the moment, so hopefully, so just put a like for that because it's something well beyond my expectation for today. So thanks very much for that. All right, so as I mentioned, we are live on Facebook and we are live on YouTube. Okay, so also we are advancing technology because I'm probably too old to be a social media influencer, so I'm doing already something that is, again, well beyond my expectation. But anyway, don't forget to subscribe also, okay, on the Instagram as well as the LinkedIn channel. Okay, we are not live there today, but anyway, you can follow us on the other social media channel to make sure you receive updates and news about our products and our future event as well, because I mean we are running a lot of webinar every month. Probably we do at least probably 2 per week or something like that. So I mean there are a lot of events going on around WIDIA and Hanita, and of course you can take the time also to visit widia.com. That is our website where you can find all the information about our products. And the other thing you can do from widia.com is download Novo. Okay, Novo is an app that we developed not only to, let me say, provide tooling information. So it's not just an e-catalog, but you can find there all the application data about our products. Okay, so I believe that if you are visiting regularly shop floor, or if you are working in a shop floor, Novo is very useful for you because you can select the best tool for your application. Okay, so Novo help you in selecting the right tool, and in the same time give you the possibility to extract the cutting data based on your requirement. Okay, so it's a free app that we have available from widia.com that you can download on your computer, or if you go into the mobile store, you can download the Novo for your tablet. So it's not available for the smartphone because it's a big app, okay, and doesn't make sense to have such a big app on a small screen. So it's available for PC, or anyway for computer and for tablet. Okay, so if you go on widia.com, you will find all the information about that. Now coming back to to our history. So it was 2009 when the VariMill 1 evolved into the VariMill 2, all right? So the VariMill 2 still applied the same concept of the VariMill overall technology, so what we call the unequal flute spacing. But this time we were increasing the number of flute from 4 into 5, okay? And now I think nowadays becomes almost a given, okay, to have more flute. And this is exactly the path we started in 2009, launching on the market the 5-flute version of the VariMill product, okay? Because now we understand that the trend it's always to have more and more flute on the end mill, because how can I say? Because you know the customers are looking for more productivity, so having 1 flute more give you the possibility to have more feed rate per revolution. All right, okay, probably it's not always possible, but anyway, the trend is also in that direction. All right, and that's why in 2009 we decided to take the VariMill 1 and evolve this into the VariMill 2. Okay, you can see that the technology remained the same, of course more complex, okay, because we had to handle more angles, but anyway the point is that we don't divide the disposition of the cutting edge by 5 equally, but every cutting edge has its own angle to make sure that we can cut the harmonics, cut the vibration, and also, I have to say, provide more space for the chips evacuation into the flute, okay? Because this is another topic. And I believe that the chip evacuation is a very good point, okay? Because when we think about the 5 flute, okay, we normally think about a tool can only go around the component, all right? So we can do side milling, maybe up to 40% radial engagement, because you might think that the space between the cutting edge is not enough to handle heavy cut. But the other thing I believe has been revolutionary with the VariMill 2, and still today is like at the cutting edge of innovation, is the capability of the VariMill 2 to take full slot operation, or to take, sorry, full slot cut down to 1 times the in depth of cut. And I'm sorry if I go back and forth, but believe me, I'm doing a tremendous job managing all the buttons that I have in front of me at the moment. So I need to convince my company to hire an assistant only for myself, but it will be almost impossible, but I will try. Anyway, coming back to the topic around full slot. The VariMill 2 is a 5 flute, it's a 5 flute cutter. And as I mentioned, probably most of us think that a 5 flute can only go around a component, so making side milling operation. Here, you can see that with the 5777, so our 5 flute cutter, so the VariMill 2, we have the possibility, okay, and this is proven here, so we're looking the video together, making a full slot into our component, up to 1 times diameter in depth of cut. All right, so if you have a 3/4 cutter in diameter, we can go 3/4 depth of cut. If you have a 20mm cutter, we can go 20mm depth of cut. And this is exactly what we're doing. So the incredible technology around or behind the VariMill 2 is give it the capability to have more cutting edge and make the same heavy cut that we do normally with the 4 flute. All right. And okay, now what we are looking now is a steel component. I believe it was 4140, okay, only for the sake of demonstration, right? Because we can run this component dry and see very well the operation. And by the way, look at the chip evacuation. Look at how the chips are flying out of the cutting zone. So meaning that the chip formation is basically perfect. But anyway, the VariMill 1 and the VariMill 2 has been developed in different style. Okay, we can say 2 main buckets. Okay, the one for steel and cast iron, and then we also have the VariMill 1 and the VariMill 2 more focused on the super alloys, because Hanita has been very well connected to aerospace since the beginning of its history. Okay, aerospace or anyway challenging type of material, including PH steel, stainless steel, titanium, Inconel, Vaspaloy, all this kind of stuff. So the great capability of the VariMill 2, it was really about the possibility to make this type of heavy cut, even if we have 5 teeth. That is not really something super common for this type of tool. And by the way, also the coating technology evolved, okay, because I mean, we can understand that at a certain point we dismissed our titanium nitride type of coating, and we switched to TICM first, and then to TLN, and then to Altin. So that's why now you see that the cutting tools are black colored, because primarily this is TLN or Altin coating. And this is also recognizable because when basically you are developing temperature, and I will stop the video for a second to show you that, you see the tool turn white, okay, in this area here. I hope you can see my cursor on the screen at the moment. And this is basically the alumina part of the coating combining with the oxygen, creating this kind of ceramic layer called Al2O3, okay? And this is basically one of the reasons why the coating evolved from titanium nitride to titanium carbonitride into TLN and Altin, because this new type of coating contain now the alumina part that combining with the oxygen at a certain level of temperature create a ceramic layer all around, to make sure we can further protect the product and prolong basically the tool life. All right, so this is why the tools are now black colored, first of all, and why you see the cutting edge turning white while cutting, because there is this kind of chemical combination between the products. Okay, so just a little technical stuff behind the coating technology. So somebody commented, I did it on stainless steel with 5777, no problem. Yeah, I believe you mean the full slot operation on stainless steel. That's why I was mentioning that before. So the VariMill is not only able to address steel, but is also able to address with the same type of capability and productivity, so heavy cut in challenging material like stainless steel and super alloys that, as we mentioned, these are materials where we need to be very careful with cutting forces and temperature development, because we need to keep everything as low as possible to make sure that we don't break the tool or we don't kill the tool before what we need to be productive. All right. So now coming back to that, this was the technology around the VariMill 2, okay? And this is another piece of marketing. And I think what I explained to you has been also very well explained in the piece of marketing that we made at that time. So full slot up to 1x unequal full spacing. And basically, the other crazy thing is that with the VariMill 1 and the VariMill 2, you are able still today to make both roughing and finishing operation with the same tool. Okay, so the other component of the VariMill technology is always about the versatility. Okay, and the versatility is not only about the material range you can cover with one tool, but also the application range you can cover with one tool. All right. So the cutting edge we have on the VariMill is always a continuous cutting edge. So we don't have any chip breaker geometry there. So you have also the possibility to make finishing operation, leaving a good finish on both the wall and the floor of the component. Okay, and if you think about that, if you work on a shop floor and you need to be fast producing your part, and you can do roughing and finishing into using one single tool, is great for you because you cut the time of tool change and you save one tool. Okay, so it's not only a value saving because you have to buy only one tool instead of two, but on the other side you cut also on the machining time because you don't need to waste time to go far from the component, change your tool, coming back. So this is that time, let me say, that you anyway have to pay at the end of the day. So versatility is another big concept around the VariMill technology. Now, next step in evolution into the VariMill family has been the VariMill 3, okay, starting from 2015, okay, and I was part of this launch because at the time I was like responsible for the European region to push the product or to assist our customer in applying our product. And I remember very well the time when we launched the VariMill 3, right? It's a 7-flute cutter that was really impressive. And in our standard portfolio with the VariMill 3, we go up to 5 times the depth of cut. So it's really long tool that is made, let me say, 100% for dynamic milling. All right. So when you have 7 tool, you don't have too much space, okay, between the flute. Okay. Of course, with this type of tool, you cannot take full slot operation, right? But you can do dynamic milling super fast. Okay. And this is basically the point around the VariMill 3. All right. So again, coming back to some of the video that I have collected, and here I have to give a lot of kudos to my colleague Mike because he provided me this very nice video that I want to show you now. Okay. Basically, this is what the VariMill 3 can do for you. All right. This is a machining operation on stainless steel. Okay. And be very careful with that. This is an operation that we are running dry with absolutely no problem. Cutting speed was around 300 meters per minute. Okay, so if we turn this into SFM, it's about 900 and more SFM. Okay, so it's a crazy speed when you think about stainless steel. Okay, but anyway, this is exactly the type of operation we develop the VariMill 3. All right, so I don't understand why the video is not really going fluid, let me say. But anyway, it's all about this technology in dynamic milling. So the possibility to go very fast around the component using the maximum depth of cut you can, okay, and a very limited radial engagement, okay, and having the chips flying all around, okay, and this is one of the way you can deliver productivity. Of course, this is not only about the tool, all right. So when you do dynamic milling, it's also about the machine and the software that you're using to program dynamic milling, all right. So you need to have the combination between the three elements to make sure you can run a successful dynamic milling operation. But anyway, we are tool maker, we are tool producer, and this is exactly what we did to address this requirement from the customer perspective. So the possibility to make dynamic milling operation in a proper way, all right? And here, for example, you have seen before the tool going around the component from the external side, and now you see the same happening into the inside, okay, opening some pocket into the component. All right, so I'm sorry, here, of course, I'm having some trouble now moving from the video to the slide, but it's also part of the game at this point. So the nice thing is that when you look at the VariMill portfolio today, now we can go back to our presentation, it's really a large portfolio, all right? So it's not only the number of flute, okay, so the VariMill 1, the VariMill 2, the VariMill 3, 4, 5, or 7 flute, but also the difference in styles that we have, because we think that the VariMill technology is so good that with some few optimization, right, we can create a tool more versatile or a tool that is more dedicated to a specific application, right? So when you see this little chart here on the screen, you see that there are tools like the VariMill 1 is more dedicated for multiple material application, and you can do roughing, you can do semi-finishing, you can do finishing. But on the other side, when you see the VariMill 2ER, the VariMill 3ER, they have an optimized cutting edge that is more dedicated for super alloys and stainless steel. So we can say that they primarily been developed for aerospace, but not only. So they've been also developed for all this kind of materials. So every industry segment utilizing stainless steel and titanium can take benefit from the VariMill 2, the VariMill 3. But anyway, the concept is that today we have really large offering into the VariMill portion, addressing different needs, optimizing the geometry, optimizing the coating, optimizing the cutting edge, but anyway, still based on the root of the VariMill technology, so the unequal fluid spacing that we have seen just a second ago. Now, of course, Hanita is not only VariMill, okay? So the Hanita portfolio is huge because over the course of the history, we introduced many different type of tool, like the tool dedicated for the diamond industry, mainly for what we say hard type of machining, okay? 60 Rockwell C, 62 Rockwell C, something like that. We launched a rougher tool, okay, for even heavier cut, more than what we have seen before. So like up to 1 times the depth of cut or 2 times the depth of cut, okay, to have a better chip management. We recently launched rougher, more and more specialized into items machining, okay, because the items are increasing a lot in the marketplace. A lot of customers are machining Inconel, titanium, Asteloy, so they need specific tool for that. And for example, the 4U80 technology in 2017 has been one of the advancements that we did over the year to make sure that we can address also the needs of those customers. All right, and today the Hanita portfolio, as I mentioned, is really a big portfolio with a multiple platform contained to make sure that we have always the right solution for the requirement of our customer. So, and as I mentioned, the evolution didn't stop. Now we are in 2021. At the beginning of this month, we released the next step into the VariMill family called the VariMill Extreme. That it's absolutely a mind-blowing technology in my eyes, because it is still a 4-flute. Okay, then I don't want to spend all the time to talk about every single detail, but if you think about this, we basically reinvented a 4-flute type of cut. Okay, we really reinvented that. So the 4-flute, as I mentioned before, is like the bread and butter of machining, because everyone has a 4-flute. There is nothing serious about that. But anyway, the point is that we have been able to reinvent, to apply multiple patents, okay, to create new pattern geometry and apply into the VariMill Extreme to make sure that we can take some crazy cut, or anyway, to make the tool even more productive than the original VariMill technology. This is what it is. I have a video showing some of the capability. I don't know why it's not working, of course. What's going on here? Okay, now it's moving. Okay, so this is one of the video or the application that we recently did to demonstrate the capability of the VariMill Extreme. The material that we have in this case is not a simple 4140 again, but it's something we call Ardox 400. So it's like a wear-resistant steel, okay, where you have to think that hardness and abrasion are the main characteristics of this type of material. And now with the VariMill Extreme, we are able to address really heavy cut in this type of material. So we have seen just a second ago a 20-degree ramp down into the full material, 20 degree, right? So this tool is capable to go down even 45 degree. It's even capable to drill into the full material. And what we are seeing now is a depth of cut that is 1.5 times the full slotting into a material like Ardox 400. So it's really another revolution. As I mentioned, there are multiple patents applied to this tool. So it's something that is unique for Hanita. And believe me, for my understanding, this is the next step of evolution in not only in our portfolio, but in general into the milling technology. Okay, with this, I believe we said already a lot. Okay, so I hope I've been able to, let me say, transmit to you the excitement around the Hanita portfolio, around the product that we have, around the great technology that we have. One thing that I want to mention is that with the portfolio and the capability, we are now able to address multiple type of segments, starting from general engineering down to aerospace, power generation, electronic, military and defense, automotive, die and mold. So there are really multiple markets where we are supporting our customer in achieving their productivity needs. And as I mentioned, the evolution is not stopping. Okay, we are about to launch another new product. I don't want to say too much about that. Okay, so I will leave you with a little of bitter taste, because you will hear more about that. So probably we will go to schedule another live event, or anyway you will get some more information about the next type of tool that we are releasing in about just probably 4 weeks. So stay tuned for that. And with this, I really thank you for being part of the live presentation today. I love all your comment, and I love the fact that you are, coming from all around the world. So I see people from US, from Canada, from Israel, from Italy, from France, from Germany. So really, thank you very much for that. As I mentioned, don't forget to follow us on our social media channel in general. Okay, you can also follow myself on LinkedIn as well. I think I'm quite active there. And yeah, with that, I really thank you. So don't hesitate to share this video with your friends, because I think it will remain available on our social media channel for a long time. And yeah, I mean, we are here to support you with your productivity needs. So don't hesitate to reach out to us, and we will be able to and happy to support you as much as we can. So with this, I think I don't want to take too much of your time again. I really thank you again for being part of this presentation, and I hope to see you all soon in another event. So thank you very much. Leave a like, leave a comment here below, and I wish you all the best for the rest of your day. Thank you very much.